My Pixar marathon continues with look at 2015's Good Dinosaur. While not my favorite film from them, I still enjoyed it given the circumstances of when it came out, so let's open it up. The film was basically a big what if scenario, depicting the meteor that killed the dinosaurs instead passing right by, sparing them. The story mainly focuses on young Arlo, and Apatosaurus with Raymond Ochoa. He doesn't look like a blue puppet that talks about Nintendo games, though his journey is still an interesting one. In many ways, the film makes a better line for a time follow up than the numerous actual ones. Every time I see one on my feed, I'm all, they still make these? Anyway, Arlo's father, Henry, voiced by Jeffrey Wright, doesn't survive the first act. Following many characters before him who lose at least one parental unit in a Disney film before the end of the first reel. In his absence, Arlo must earn his mark, find his way back home, along with an early human boy named Spot, voiced by Jack Bright. I must say, the scenario is depicted a bit more accurately than the Flintstones, or even the Cruise for that matter, even earning the improvement Neil deGrasse Tyson. As for the scene of them unwittingly getting in on those fermented fruits, I want to make it clear that I do not endorse or encourage their consumption. After they come to, they need to get back to their respective families and encounter other dinosaurs on the journey back downriver, both friendly and not. The former includes a Styracosaur named Forrest, voiced by film's director Peter Sohn, and the pack of Tyrannosaurs led by Butch, voiced by Sam Elliott. Now, Spot. That's a name nobody else will reply where I come from. Sorry, I couldn't resist. On the other side of the coin, we have our antagonist, a Nyctosaurus named Thunderclap, voiced by Steve Zahn and his followers, a Ludodactylus named Coldfront, voiced by Stephen Clay Hunter, and a Cockycephalus named Downpour, voiced by Mandy Freund. I haven't mentioned this yet, but we like a variety of dinosaurs in this movie. Not a species everyone knows, but ones aren't as commonly known as the ones I just mentioned. And that's basically the long and short of it. A journey of Spot and Arlo to reunite with their respective families, both figuratively and literally. Admittedly not a bad plot. Given some the same year's groundbreaking Inside Out being a tough act to follow. As for the perilous tone of the film putting people off, I can understand that to a fault, but personally, it's no worse than what the Mouse is putting out on a Marvel Lucasfilm that year alone. That and it also makes a close 9 time sequel in the numerous DTV films I mentioned before. Anyway, hey, Arlo and Spot come around Clawtooth Mountain and go their separate ways. The storm returns while Arlo's fear is gone. The flying dinosaurs end up being hoisted by one petard, with Thunderclap himself meeting pretty gruesome fate as his wings are clipped and he's swept away. As Spot reunites with his clan, we close on Arlo returning home to his family and finally making his mark on their land. While not my favorite Pixar film in recent memory, it's still one that I did enjoy talking about. It didn't quite get the glowing praise Inside Out did the same year, but still more or less well received it the same. It also made a reasonable $332 million worldwide, including $123 million in the United States. Here's the problem. Lost cost $200 million to make, with even more spent on marketing, making this Pixar's first film to be considered a financial disappointment. To be fair, it was up against some stiff competition, and the holiday season opened. Hunger Games, Creed, James Bond, and Disney's Star Wars Force Awakens, to name a few. The last one had the biggest opening weekend ever at the time. It at least made more than Alvin and Chipmunk's Road Trip, which at least counts for something. Still, much like Onward Later, take a similar take with any movie that I enjoyed that underperformed. If you have seen it, great. If you haven't, this is definitely a movie that is not going to find an audience at home, especially on Disney Plus. I can definitely say it's worth watching, and I'll let you be the judge about the tone. My final rating is 3 out of 4. Next time, Pixar Marathon concludes this day of the day with 2017's Coco. Happy Halloween, everyone.